Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to tackle a really strange paradox, something that affects pretty much everyone, whether you're just driving your car or you're a top CEO. It's called the intelligence trap, and it all comes down to a biological reason why we tend to overestimate ourselves.
All right, so let's just start with a number that honestly makes no sense on its own. 93%. Just let that sink in for a second. What in the world could this be?
Well, get this. A famous study found that 93% of people believe they are above average drivers. Just think about that. More than 9 out of every 10 people are convinced they're better than the average person behind the wheel.
Now, you don't have to be a math genius to know that's just impossible, right? By definition, only 50% of people can be above average. So what's going on here? This little glitch in our brains points to something much, much bigger about how we're all wired, and it's not just about driving. So yeah, let's figure out what's really happening.
So I know what you're probably thinking. The easy answer here is just ego, right? We assume people who are overconfident are just arrogant. It's a character flaw, something you just need to get under control.
But what if that's not it at all? What if I told you the root cause has nothing to do with your personality? What if it's literally hardwired into your brain's basic operating system?
Okay, so here's the key. That feeling of being certain, that gut feeling that tells you you're absolutely right, it's tied to a very specific part of your brain's function. And here's the kicker. That function has a hard limit. And that function is what we call your working memory. The easiest way to think about it is like the RAM in your computer. It's that temporary mental workspace you use to hold on to and, juggle information while you're trying to figure something out.
So, to really, truly know how sure you should be about something, your brain has to do a ton of work. It needs to hold on to all the reasons you might be right, but also all the reasons you might be wrong, plus all the other possibilities and things you might be missing. That is a huge amount of mental work. And this is where it gets really fascinating. What happens when that system gets overloaded? Well, whether you have a lower working memory capacity to begin with, or maybe you're just tired or stressed, your brain takes a shortcut. It just can't handle all that complexity, so it defaults to the easiest, simplest feeling it can: total certainty. It's like a mental default setting.
And look, this isn't just some interesting brain science fact. This biological default, it has real-world consequences, sometimes really painful ones.
I actually learned this the hard way. This exact blind spot led me to a massive business failure. I was 100% certain I was right, totally sure. And, well, as you can see here, that certainty was exactly what brought everything crashing down.
So I was launching this new software platform. It was for creative professionals, and in my head, the product was perfect. I was absolutely convinced the market was just sitting there waiting for it. I mean, I could feel it in my bones. I was that sure.
But here's the thing. My brain, by taking that easy path to certainty, had basically filtered out all the evidence that I was wrong. I completely underestimated how slow the industry was to adopt new things, and I totally missed a huge shift in how people were finding products. They were all on their phones, and my software wasn't even designed for mobile.
So the outcome? Yeah, total failure, all of it. And that feeling of confidence I had, it was totally unearned. It was just my brain taking a shortcut, and it led to a disaster that, looking back now, was completely avoidable.
Okay, so how do we fight back against this? It's a biological default, right? We can't just think our way out of it. We need a tool. So let's get into a really practical framework you can start using, like today, to short-circuit this intelligence trap.
It's called the 60% calibration rule, and it's actually pretty simple. The whole idea is to stop talking in absolutes. You stop saying, I'm 100% sure. Instead, you force yourself to put a number on it, a percentage. Just doing that one simple thing, quantifying it, interrupts that brain shortcut and kicks you into a more careful, analytical mode. And this table just lays it out perfectly. Look at the difference. The old way, you say, this project will be a success. What does your brain do? It goes looking for all the reasons you're right. That's confirmation bias. But the new way, you say, I'm 60% sure this will succeed. That changes everything. Your brain immediately pivots and starts asking, okay, so what's in that other 40%? You're not defending an idea anymore. You're actively looking for what you've missed. Look, the point of all this isn't to make you doubt yourself all the time. It's about improving the quality of your certainty. It's about earning your confidence, not just defaulting to it. So I'll leave you with this question. What's one thing you're absolutely 100% sure about right now? And what would happen if you just tried reframing it and told yourself you're only 60% sure?
What might you find in that other 40%?